Picture two people, same age, same city, same salary. One of them, 5 years from now, has a growing investment portfolio, an emergency fund, and real financial freedom starting to take shape. The other one, still living paycheck to paycheck, wondering where all the money went. Same income, completely different outcomes. Now here's the question that should genuinely bother you. What did the first person know that the second one didn't? It wasn't luck. It wasn't a secret investment tip. It wasn't even that they earned more money. The difference came down to something far simpler and far more psychological than most people realize. And by the end of this video, you're going to understand exactly what that difference is and how you can use the next 5 years to completely change your financial trajectory. Stay with me, because this one actually matters. Let's talk about the story most of us were quietly told about money. Work hard, get a good job, spend wisely, save what's left, retire at 65. That's the plan, right? And look, there's nothing wrong with working hard, but here's the problem with that plan. It treats wealth like a destination you eventually arrive at after decades of waiting. It doesn't actually tell you how money grows. It doesn't explain the game you're playing. It just says, be patient and it'll work out. So, what do most people do? They spend first and save what's left. They put their money in a regular savings account earning next to nothing. They tell themselves they'll start investing when things calm down or when they earn a little more. And 5 years pass, then 10, then 20. And they wonder why the gap between where they are and where they want to be just keeps getting wider. Here's the uncomfortable truth. Most people aren't building wealth. They're just managing expenses. And there's a massive difference between those two things. Building wealth is intentional. It's systematic, and it starts with understanding one idea that most schools never teach you. That idea is this: money has a multiplying property, but only when you put it in the right place. Let me show you what I mean with a simple example. Imagine you have two friends. We'll call them Alex and Jordan. Alex takes $300 every month and spends it. New clothes, eating out, streaming subscriptions, nothing wrong with enjoying life, but that $300 is gone every month, no trace of it. Jordan also has $300 every month, but Jordan invests it. Not in anything complicated, just the basic index fund that tracks the overall stock market, historically returning around 8 to 10% a year on average. After 1 year, the difference doesn't look that impressive. Alex has nice memories of good meals. Jordan has maybe $3,800 in their account. Not life-changing, right? But here's where it gets interesting. After 5 years, Jordan has roughly $22,000. Not from some massive paycheck, not from a lucky stock pick, just from consistently putting $300 a month into something that grows. And here's the part that really starts to feel like magic. After 10 years, that becomes around $175,000. After 20 years, still just $300 a month, it crosses $175,000. The money isn't just growing, it's growing on its previous growth. That's compound interest, and it is, without exaggeration, one of the most powerful forces in personal finance. Albert Einstein, who knew a thing or two about powerful forces, supposedly called compound interest the eighth wonder of the world. Whether he actually said that or not doesn't really matter. The math speaks for itself. But here's what I want you to notice. None of this requires being rich to start. It requires being consistent, and it requires starting now, not later, because time is the ingredient that makes compound interest actually work. And every year you wait, you're essentially handing that ingredient back. The 5-year framework. So let's get practical. How do you actually use the next 5 years to build real wealth? Let's break it down into 3 moves that work together like gears in a machine. Move 1. Stop saving what's left. Start investing what's first. This is the single biggest mindset shift most people need to make. The traditional approach is earn money, pay bills, enjoy life, save whatever's left. But the problem is, whatever's left is usually nothing. Life has a funny way of filling up the space between income and zero. The wealth-building approach flips the order. You decide in advance what percentage of your income is going toward your future, even if it's just 10 or 15%, and that money moves automatically before you ever see it, before your brain has a chance to find a reason to spend it. This is called paying yourself first, and it works not because it's clever, but because it removes the psychological friction of making a decision every single month. Think about it this way. If your employer offered to put 15% of your salary directly into a separate account you couldn't easily access, and then deposited the rest into your checking account, you'd quickly adjust your lifestyle to fit that income. You wouldn't even miss the 15% because you'd never get used to having it. That's exactly what paying yourself first does. You engineer the habit so it doesn't require daily willpower. Move 2. Make your money work in the right place. Now that you're consistently setting money aside, the question is, where does it go? A regular savings account, we need to be honest about this, is not a wealth-building tool. It's a safety net. It keeps your emergency fund stable. But with interest rates that often don't even keep up with inflation, your money is actually losing purchasing power over time while it sits there. Real wealth building happens in the market. And before that phrase triggers any anxiety, this doesn't mean day trading, picking individual stocks, or staring at charts all day. The simplest, most evidence-backed approach is index fund investing. An index fund is basically a basket that holds tiny pieces of hundreds or even thousands of companies at once. When you invest in one, you're essentially betting on the entire economy moving forward over time, which, historically, it always has. The average annual return of the U.S. stock market over the last century, including crashes, recessions, and pandemics, has been around 10%. Not every year. Some years it's up 25. Some years it's down 30. But over time, the line trends upward. And here's the beautiful thing. You don't need to be smart about which stocks to pick. You just need to stay in the game consistently. Move 3. Eliminate the silent wealth killer. This one doesn't get talked about enough. High-interest debt, especially credit card debt, is like a leak in your financial boat. You can pour money in all day long, but if that leak is draining faster than you're filling, you're not going anywhere. Credit card interest rates are often between 20 and 30% annually. That means if you're carrying a balance and investing at the same time, you're essentially trying to grow wealth at 10% while simultaneously losing it at 25%. The math doesn't work. Before aggressively investing beyond any employer match, eliminate high-interest debt. Treat it with the same urgency you'd treat a hole in your roof, because it's costing you more every single day you leave it open. Here's the deeper insight I want you to walk away with. Something that goes beyond the mechanics. Most people think wealth is about income. If I just earned more, I'd be fine. And while income obviously matters, studies on lottery winners, professional athletes, and high earners consistently show the same thing. People tend to expand their spending to match and often exceed their income. There's even a name for it: lifestyle inflation. The moment you earn more, you want a nicer car, a bigger apartment, better vacations. And suddenly, the extra income you were counting on to build wealth gets absorbed into a more expensive version of your current life. The psychology here is fascinating. Our brains have a comparison mechanism. Economists call it relative deprivation. We don't measure our wealth in absolute terms. We measure it relative to the people around us, our coworkers, our neighbors, our social media feeds. And social media has made this dramatically worse. You're no longer comparing yourself to your neighborhood, you're comparing yourself to the highlight reels of thousands of people simultaneously. Everyone looks wealthier than they are. Everyone looks like they're living more than they are. And that constant comparison pressure nudges you toward spending that feels normal, but is actually quietly destroying your ability to build wealth. The people who build wealth in 5 years aren't immune to this psychology. They just become aware of it. They catch themselves before the lifestyle upgrade and they ask one question: is this bringing me closer to freedom or further from it? That question alone, asked consistently, is worth more than any stock tip. Let me give you a simple 5-year plan that actually works. Not a complicated 47-step system, just the essentials. Year 1, build the foundation. Get your emergency fund to at least 3 months of expenses. This is your financial floor. Without it, every unexpected bill becomes a setback that forces you to either go into debt or pull from your investments. 3 months in a high-yield savings account. That's the goal. Simultaneously, if your employer offers a retirement account with a match, contribute at least enough to get the full match. That's an instant 50 or 100% return on that money. It's the best guaranteed return available to you. And start tracking where your money actually goes, not to punish yourself, just to see reality clearly. Most people, when they first look at their spending data, are genuinely surprised. The subscriptions they forgot about, the food spending that's 2 or 3 times what they estimated. Awareness is step 1. Year 2 and 3, build momentum. Pay off any high-interest debt aggressively, then redirect that payment toward your investment account every month. Increase your investment contribution whenever your income increases. Got a raise? Before your lifestyle adjusts, redirect half of it toward investing. You'll barely notice the difference in your lifestyle, but your future self will notice enormously. Start learning, just a little. Read one book on personal finance, the basics of index investing, tax-advantaged accounts. You don't need to become an expert. You just need enough understanding to not make expensive mistakes. Year 4 and 5, accelerate. By this point, something starts to happen that feels almost unbelievable the first time you notice it. Your investments start generating returns that are larger than your monthly contributions. Money is making money without you doing anything new. This is the moment wealth starts feeling real, not theoretical, actual. Now you look for ways to increase your income, a side project, a skill upgrade, a career move. And instead of funding a more expensive lifestyle, you funnel the extra income into the machine you've already built. 5 years. That's all it takes to get the machine running. Not to be rich, but to be on a completely different financial trajectory than the average person. To have options, to have breathing room, to have money that's working for you while you sleep. Let me leave you with this thought. 5 years from now, time is going to pass regardless. The question isn't whether 5 years will go by, it's what you'll have to show for them. The person who starts today, even imperfectly, even with small amounts, will be in a fundamentally different position than the person who waits until everything feels right. Because everything never feels perfectly right. Life is always a little messy. Money is always a little tight. There's always a reason to wait. But the cost of waiting isn't just financial, it's psychological. Every year that passes without progress on this is a year where the gap between your current life and your desired life either closes or widens. And it's closing or widening whether you're paying attention or not. Wealth isn't built in a single dramatic moment. It's built in the quiet, consistent, unsexy decision to do the simple things repeatedly, while everyone else is waiting for a better time. The best time to start was 5 years ago. The second best time is right now. If this video helped you see money a little differently, share it with someone who needs to hear it. And if you want to go deeper on any of these concepts, compound interest, index investing, how to actually set up your first investment account, we're going to cover all of it on this channel. See you in the next one.